No matter if points are gained or points are lost, there will be much to discuss. For analysis regarding tonight's Winnipeg Jets game, here are Dave Manouk, Ezra Ginsburg, and your host, Drew Mandel. The Illegal Curve post-game show, presented by PlayNow, the official sports betting partner of the Winnipeg Jets, starts now.
Good evening, Winnipeg. Good evening, Manitoba. For all those joining us live this evening on our YouTube channel and all of our social media platforms, we say good evening, universe, and welcome to the Illegal Curve post-game show. Game 1 of 82 regular season games, Dave Manouk, and it looked like it was going to be a blowout, and then it got exciting at the end, but ultimately a 5-1 deficit is too big of a hole for the Jets to dig out of. They lose the home opener and season opener by a 5-4 margin to the Dallas Stars. Nice to see you again on this Thursday evening. Welcome to the 25-26 NHL regular season.
Yeah, we're back at it, Drew. I mean, it's been 8 hours since we we last, or no, 10 hours, sorry, since we last spent some time together, but may as well get the band back together. Sanzez, of course, who's on IR, but we will discuss it. And I was like, it was a tight game, 2-1. You're like, okay, well, let's see what's going to happen in this one, and we'll see how they can, they were being shell shocked in terms of the second period. They got outshot. I think it was like, 18-7 or something, maybe even less.
17-7, but yeah. It was,
17-7.
An ugly second period for the Winnipeg Jets.
Yeah, it was not a great second period, but Connor Hellebuck looked really good. So you're like, okay, well, maybe they're going to keep in it and then they'll wake up. Well, they woke up. It was a little too late. And I jokingly said, well, are we going to see that when it was 5-1 for the Stars? I said, are we going to see another Manitoba miracle? Mostly joking. And then suddenly it was like 5-4. I'm like, well, maybe we will. Yeah. And then maybe it's just that the Jets wanted to give us a lot of goals to talk about on this first post-game show of the season. So lots of questions, but, good atmosphere inside the building. Of course, the Jets fans were very loud. Jonathan Toews' introduction was so loud you couldn't actually hear when they were like, from Winnipeg, Manitoba, and it was just being drowned out by the fans. Excited to, of course, see Connor Hellebuck, to have the President's Trophy and the Central Division, Was it Central Division banner for the when those got revealed, I should say. So fans were excited about it, but at the end of the day, like they were, I thought they were going to be smart in terms of not taking penalties. I was wrong. Of course, it turned out to be their secret weapon in the third period, so maybe it was a good thing. But there's clearly some rust. It was Murat put out a good tweet, I thought, and everyone there was a consensus that we all agreed with what his assessment in the second period, I think. And he said something to the effect of, it's hard to imagine these two teams as the same two teams largely that we saw playing playoff hockey that looked very different from the hockey we just watched through two periods of play in Winnipeg today. So I thought that was an accurate comment, because while both teams were obviously playing with most of their guys, it just seemed to me, Drew, that this was it was a lot of rust, and again, you don't generally speaking, because of the way the training camp runs and the exhibition games. And for the record, I'm not making excuses because all teams have to deal with it, but most teams aren't playing with their full squads even until the last game.
It's the first time you've had your 12 forwards, 6 defensemen all together for the most part.
Right. So anyways, basically what in my mind, and again, I think it applied to both teams, it was just sloppy and it was not clean hockey. And the Stars were able to capitalize on some mistakes made by the Jets, and the penalty, of course, penalty trouble. And the Jets, to their credit, didn't fold up when they were down 5-1, because it would have been very easy to do so. So, and the unusual nature by the way, Kevin talked about it on the broadcast. Were Morgan Barron's 2 goals on the same penalty, were they not both empty nets? Because he said that the Jets did that last year, where they scored 2 goals on the same penalty kill.
Penalty killing.
But I thought both the Morgan Barron goals were into empty nets, whereas this one, of course, was a little different. So
I'd have to go
I'm sure the chat. Well, we don't need Chevy's ego came up with it. Yes, and boring Sean Monahan as well. They said they were. So yeah, definitely a little different than this time around, because both the Barron and Connor goals were spectacular, which we'll get into when we do the PlayNow game recap. But yeah, I mean, it's not the best. There's some things to be happy about, I think, overall, and there's some things to be unhappy with. So it was an interesting first game of the season.
Yeah, what my takeaway from this game is that the Jets and the Stars are still two of the better teams in the NHL. I mean, I think that's what the expectation is for most people, is that these are two teams that are going to be playoff teams that are going to have a high level of success for the most part this season. Dallas obviously was the better of the two teams for the majority of this game. They deserved the 2 points that they got. But at the same time, the Jets come back. Well, some will say window dressing, and some will say doesn't really matter when you're down 5-1 and you score 3 goals. I think it still shows the pride that this Winnipeg Jets team has, that they didn't want to be. They could have just hung their head and moved on to Saturday against the LA Kings. But I think that the pride that they have and the pride that they have within that dressing room dictated to some extent that comeback. Sure, Dallas takes their foot off the gas, but the Jets do score 2 shorthanded goals, which doesn't happen every day. Then they get the next one from Connor, which we'll get into in more details. Again, there's a lot of warts in the Winnipeg Jets game. You saw how significant the absence of a guy like Dylan Samberg is and will continue to be, but that's going to be the case for the next 4 to 6 weeks. So you have to try and sort of mitigate that absence and deal with that absence and deal with that loss as much as you don't like it. But at the end of the day, I don't think much has not that one game was necessarily going to change my thinking, but I still believe that these are two very high-end teams in what is a more or less loaded Western Conference. We will bring you Jets head coach Scott Arniel from the Matt Frost Media Center as soon as he is at the podium, where he's got it all queued up, courtesy of photographer, videographer of Illegal Curve, Colby Spence. So as soon as the Jets head coach is at the podium, we will bring him in live tonight on the Illegal Curve post-game show. So don't go anywhere with that. Of course, the post-game show brought to you by our friends at PlayNow. They're the title sponsor of the Illegal Curve post-game show, the Illegal Curve hockey show, all of our programming. Big thanks to our friends at PlayNow for their continued support. I mean, another thing that this game sort of reminded me about, Dave, is that I, for the life of me, do not understand how Mikko Rantanen got traded from the Colorado Avalanche
and ended up back in Dallas.
And ended up in Dallas. I mean, I know Carolina, I understand sort of more from their perspective why they traded him, because they were going to lose him for nothing. He wasn't going to sign there. I would have rather seen them try and make a run. Logan Stankoven, the guy they got, nice player, but not Mikko Rantanen. But the fact, Mikko Rantanen, as we all know, is an absolute beast out there. He's just what he does to Cole Koepke on that second Dallas goal, he just shoved him off. And we'll get into detail. But Mikko Rantanen is a dominant player in this league. You saw that tonight. But at the same time, you saw Kyle Connor say, hey, I'm a special player.
I'm pretty good too.
Yeah. The Stars showed up tonight. Not the Dallas Stars, but the Stars on both teams showed up tonight. So, yes, the fans that stayed till the end of the game are disappointed. The ones who left when it was 5-1, they're definitely disappointed. They missed everything. They beat the traffic and then they beat the.
But they at least they retained their toques that they got.
That's true. They got to keep the toques. That's true. Everybody, I think they should do another toque day, because otherwise, I don't know who is it. Scotiabank. I don't know which.
I don't know who gave it away.
Sponsors the toques, but whoever, or maybe it's Canada Life. That would make sense as well. They should have to do another toque day, because everyone has to throw their toques back on the ice. That's a little disappointing if you think about it in that sense. But a fun third period, a disappointing second period for the Winnipeg Jets, and a first period that I thought was, I think the game got sloppier as it went on. But watching that first period, I thought that it was, all things considered, for period one of 82 times 3, 246 periods that are going to play in regulation time this year. For period one of 246, I thought it was actually relatively well played for both sides. You saw the goals that were scored. You saw some chances, but I thought it wasn't as sloppy as you would have expected. And then maybe as the game went on, it opened up a little bit more as the players maybe sort of got into the flow of the game a little bit more and the structure broke down a bit. But all in all, for game one, I thought this was an entertaining contest.
Yeah, I mean, look, 9 goals is not something that you would turn your nose up. It's a little bit early season hockey for sure, Drew.
Yeah.
And like you had just touched on, I think it's a function of two teams that are, there's an animus, but when we saw it, some of the scrums and that sort of thing that were taking place, during the game, after the whistle, that sort of thing. But at the end of the day, to me, this is it's a wake up call for the Jets. I mean, they can't afford. They don't have the talent right now without Cole Perfetti and without Dylan Sandberg and without Adam Lowry,
sure,
to necessarily play outside of their structure.
Yeah,
I mean, they shouldn't play outside of their structure anyways. There's a reason why you have a structure. Remember, I mean, this is the team. I think I said, I heard on the broadcast, or maybe it was on my drive home, I think they've given up more goals in one game than they did to the Dallas Stars throughout the course of last season.
In the regular season last year, the Jets gave up 5 goals total to the Dallas Stars.
Yeah. So, I mean, to give up 5 in one game, that's, it's going to make your William Jennings a little bit more difficult. Not that the Jets care about winning those individual trophies, but I just think that it's just one of those things that you just have to be cognizant of your limitations without certain players. And look, guys stepped up. I thought Gabriel Velarde actually had a good game. I thought he was moving out pretty well out there and made some nice plays. Hit the post. Could have been a 2-2 game. He hits the post on a nice pass by Mark Scheifele. So that could have changed the nature of the second period potentially. And yeah, I thought it was overall it was an entertaining game. But Scott O'Neill is at the podium. I think so. He looks frozen. Doesn't he look frozen?
He looks a little frozen. I'm sure we'll get Colby working on that backstage right there as soon as we can get the Jets head coach in there. It does look like the camera has frozen in the Matt Frost Media Center.
Let's wait till he's moving around and we can bring him in.
The Jets head coach move. It's a little first game jitters for everybody.
Hey, I will say our audio and video of the coach from this afternoon or this after morning skate was amazing. It was probably the best audio I've ever recorded. I was very proud of myself for whatever reason, although I had to run and do our pregame show. And if for whatever reason this doesn't work, Colby is recording it, so we'll be able to have the audio and the video available for you on our YouTube channel after today's show.
We can even play it on a short delay if we need to here on the post-game show.
Yeah. So Colby will probably just come right back in, and then we'll get to the midpoint. Believe me, they might just only be getting to the first period by the time we're done because there was so much going on. So
exactly. So apologies for the technical difficulties that we're experiencing briefly on our end. Hopefully we will get those resolved and get at least part of the Winnipeg Jets head coach, get his comments to everybody here tonight on the Illegal Curve post-game show. We thank all of you for joining us for game 1 of 82 regular season games. And of course, we do this after each and every game. And then we'll do it again Saturday mornings with the Illegal Curve hockey show. So as soon as we can get that squared away, we will bring that into you here on the Illegal Curve post-game show. Looks like they might be having some network troubles in the Matt Frost Media Center. Too many members of the media in attendance tonight is what the problem is.
Well, it's funny, actually.
Wi-Fi is being used up.
It's funny. I had when we got to the press box in the first period, I was just like, nothing was working. I'm like, I'm going off the Wi-Fi. As soon as I went off the Wi-Fi, I was fine. So
there you go.
It's just a function of sometimes, unfortunately, Colby's got to bring his own little power source and his own internet connection to be able to keep things humming along.
Well, I'm not sure that we'll be able to bring the Jets head coach into you right now, but as soon as we have it available on our YouTube channel, we can then perhaps bring it into you for the post-game show at that point in time. So moving right ahead on that front, and again, apologies on that, why don't we get into what we do each and every time here on the Illegal Curve post-game show. It is, of course, the PlayNow game recap, where we go goal by goal discussing what happened in tonight's game.
The PlayNow game recap.
Big thanks to our friends at PlayNow for their continued support of the Illegal Curve post-game show. Sign up for PlayNow and get a $20 lottery welcome bonus. PlayNow is Manitoba's local, legal, and secure gambling site and the official betting partner of the Winnipeg Jets. Conditions apply. 18 plus. Enjoy responsibly. Emphasis on the word responsibly. The Dallas Stars, they opened the scoring in today's game. It's sort of funny, Dave, when before they sort of got carried away, I was thinking to myself how important it is to hold on to your stick, because two of the Stars' first 3 goals, not directly as a result, but a contributing factor to those goals are the fact that Jets players lose their sticks, particularly defensemen. Hayden Fleury is the victim of losing his stick in this instance, and that results in Mikko Rantanen standing in front of Connor Hellebuck, taking the pass from Roope Hintz, and the secondary assist going to Sam Steele. It's pretty hard to cover Mikko Rantanen in the best of times. Unfortunately for Hayden Fleury, he was also trying to do it without a stick, which makes it almost a Herculean task. And as a result, Rantanen, the big Finnish player, was standing in front of Connor Hellebuck unaccosted as Neil Pionk went out to play Roope Hintz, and the Stars made it an early 1-0 lead 3 minutes and 15 seconds into the first period.
It was a tough night for the second pairing, Drew. It was not the best night for them. And you're right. I mean, he loses his stick, tries to get it back, and it just kind of puts him behind the 8 ball or behind the 96 ball, I guess. And Neil Pionk tries to help, but I mean, that's just an easy tap in for Mikko Rantanen. And it's a little bit of a tough way to start, of course, because you had the emotion from, as I touched on earlier, the ceremony for everything else. And now you've got to, deal with the fact that you're now down 1-0. So one of the things that we've talked about is it is going to be a challenge without Dylan Samberg. You can't lose a second pairing defenseman, and credit to Hayden Fleury for his play last year, but he's not going to be Dylan Samberg. And we know that Dylan Samberg was a big boost for Neil Pionk. So Jets fans are going to be, it's going to be tight. You're going to be more reliant on Connor Hellebuck, because I suspect there'll be a lot more grade A opportunities in front of him, like that one.
Right.
And he's going to have to be even more sharp than he normally is. So, and I'm not blaming him for that, but I'm just saying that it's just going to be a reality of the Jets' current defense.
Well, it's funny, you talk about Connor Hellebuck, and even though he gave up 5 goals in tonight's game, he still ends up with a positive goals saved above expected, with regards to tonight's game. So he was still pretty good for the Winnipeg Jets in net, despite having now a goals against average of 5 to start the year. So you can totally see that this was not about him and his performance tonight for the Winnipeg Jets. The Jets really, at times, particularly in that disastrous start to the third period, were exposed. They were exposed by the Dallas Stars. And so that's certainly an area of concern. The Jets defense is not strong enough without Dylan Samberg in the lineup that anybody can be freelancing. Not saying that anyone particularly was, but it is going to take a concerted 5-man effort to keep the Winnipeg Jets above water for the opening 4 to 6 weeks of the season with Dylan Samberg out of the lineup for the Winnipeg Jets. So 1-0 for the Stars 3 minutes into tonight's contest. And then the Kyle Connor show begins in earnest. He gets his first of the game, foreshadowing, first of the season, 9 straight years.
No, 8. 8.
8? I thought it was 9.
8.
8, pardon me.
Quoting
8.
Joe Piscucci. I would not quote Joe wrong. It was Joe Piscucci's stat. He said coming into today it was 7, because in 16-17 he was with the Moose, I think. So he didn't play in the home opener, but I'm pretty sure, or whatever Joe's stat was, it was I'm pretty sure Joe said it was 8.
I'm looking at the tweet right now. Yes. 8th straight season Kyle Connor has scored a goal on opening night. So that's, I think earlier somebody said 9, but it looks like 8th in a row. That
always look and quote Joe Piscucci. He's the stats man for a reason.
There's a reason we go to him. No question about it. That's an incredible stat. 8, it's sort of mind blowing just that
If
he's
you're a
able to do
gambler,
that.
you really should be putting money on with our friends at PlayNow on Kyle Connor's ability to score in game one. That seems like money in the bank.
That would have been, people would have been cashing that one, but he scores at 6:19, so it's about 3 minutes and 4 seconds after the Stars open the scoring. He ties it up for the Winnipeg Jets. Shifley, Velarde, they get their assists, so that's the Jets' top line. We talked about it this afternoon, Dave, that they were going to need to be the offensive bus for this team. That the Jets are going to rely heavily on them for their offensive contributions, and they certainly did so in the course of tonight's game. We see it here. It's Connor and it's Shifley. Pardon me, it's Velarde and Shifley. Connor's the trailer. They come in sort of on a 2-on-2. There's even 4 guys back.
Yeah, I was going to say the Stars had the numbers.
They did. Kyle Connor is the trailer. There are 4 Stars players back, only 2 Jets players, and then Connor behind them. And Velarde goes wide. Shifley drives down low. Connor goes where he always goes, to the front of the net, the side of the net. The puck goes in deep to Shifley, and there's just an open, just an open area for whatever reason. Kyle Connor is just let to go unaccosted entirely by both Sam Steele, and it looks like Sam Steele in this instance, and hang on, let me find the other defenseman. It looks like Miro Heiskanen is involved there, and also Rupe Hintz are involved there. So just a breakdown by the Stars defense in this instance. And Kyle Connor says, okay, Shifley with a very nice saucer pass over. Connor bobbles it, almost double clutches it, but then gets his stick back on it. And Jake Ottinger is sort of down and out in this one because he was anticipating the first shot that Kyle Connor bobbled on, but he makes no mistake. And Connor puts it past Ottinger to tie the game up at 1 goal apiece.
And we'll get into that in 1 sec. But Joe Pascucci, of course,
He's
listening.
Joe's in the chat,
said,
as he always is.
2016-17 season, Kyle Connor started the season with the Moose, missed the first 5 Jets games. In first game after being recalled, he scored. So you can say he has a goal in his opening game of the season for 9 straight seasons.
In his opening game, not necessarily the Jets opening game.
Right.
But either way, however you want to divide this baby, it's a very impressive stat. Big thanks to our buddy Joe Pascucci, who's joining us in the chat and always makes us sound smarter by feeding us information such as that.
Unlike everybody else, we always make sure we credit. So we credited Joe with giving us that knowledge. And Drew, getting to this goal, I mean, it's funny. I think it really exemplifies Kyle Connor. I mean, almost all of his goals exemplify Kyle Connor. But one of the things people talk about with him is his ability to disappear. It's like he's like invisible. Like a guy who is that lethal and that dangerous, and he's just like a ghost. How does it? As you said, there were 4 Stars to the 3 Jets. Yeah. Hayden Fleury eventually got into the play, but for the most part, it was 4-on-3.
Yeah.
Kyle Connor finds a way to find open ice, and it's just remarkable. Terrible defense by the Dallas Stars. I mean, they abdicate all responsibility.
Yeah, Harley and Heiskanen, who are 2 very, very good defensemen. I don't know what they're doing on this play whatsoever. I mean, they just sort of, they lose all structure. I mean, this was just an absolute tire fire of defensive structure by the Dallas Stars. And to your point, though, Kyle Connor it's like he's got an invisibility cloak. Sorry, my daughter and son are very into Harry Potter, so there's a lot of invisibility cloak talk in our house on a regular basis. But it's like he throws on an invisibility cloak in the middle of a shift and just disappears from players altogether, despite being one of the most lethal goal scorers in the entire NHL.
Yeah, so that's why, like I said, you just can't. It's one of his abilities. It's one of the reasons why he is able to do what he does. Finds that spot, and you just can't afford to leave a player like that. He gets open, he makes no mistake, and it's in the back of the net. It's a tie game, and we're talking about Joe Stat. We're talking about the fact that he just signed that $96 million contract, which we talked about, of course, on the special edition show live from City Place, and. It just, the crowd just went crazy because, of course, it's him. Like, they would have been happy if anybody. Of course, Taves scored, and he had a really good chance. Was it in the first or the second where he had a really good chance coming down the wing and blasted a shot wide? I think it was in the first period, but no, it was in the second period. But anyways, the point is that the roof would have blown off for anybody really, but it got really excited for the fact that Kyle Connor scored that goal, and it was a great goal. So I mean, and it's quick enough that it's kind of nullified the excitement that the Stars have built after getting that first goal.
3 minutes is all it takes for the Jets to tie it up. But then it takes the Stars just over 9 minutes later, 9 minutes and 5 seconds to be exact, to take the lead, to take the 2-1 lead later in the first period. It's Nils Lundqvist, his first of the season, obviously. He didn't have a goal last year at all for the Dallas Stars. He had some injury troubles last year, but I'm pretty sure I heard the stat that he did not score for the Stars last year either. Not expected to be much of an offensive contributor, Lundqvist is, but this is him as the trailer. Not a great looking shift for the Jets' fourth line of Barron, Koepke, and Pearson. But, I mean, again, Cole Koepke is not a small man. Mikko Rantanen just shrugs him off. Koepke he's trailing on the play. Rantanen's got the puck along the boards. Kepke's in a bit of a chase position, and he's behind the play. So he's not in great position, but he's not horribly out of position. It's not a blatant, obvious, mishap. But Mikko Rantanen is just so strong that he just shrugs off Cole Koepke, and he makes a very nice pass over to Nils Lundqvist, who's coming down from the point. He's right squarely between the two hash marks, and Lundqvist is able to fire it past Connor Hellebuyck. Secondary assist goes to Jason Robertson, and it's 2-1 for the Dallas Stars with just under 5 minutes to go in the first period.
Right. And that's one of the things we've talked about is first of all, is getting outside of your structure, but two is just like the momentum swing, right? Like you built the momentum up. Again, Kyle Connor scores. So you're like, okay, what are you going to do? How are you going to kind of build on that? And like you just touched on, Drew, and how you broke it down. I mean, that's kind of a breakdown from the Jets to allow that play to kind of take on, especially because the fourth line, all the forwards kind of just without the puck are rushing out of are just exiting the zone, and they're going through the neutral zone as if they've got it. Like, that's why I thought it was unusual. I thought one of the guys would have dropped back to at least make sure, because if you don't, then what's going to happen is you've got three guys going that way, they're going the other way, and you're putting yourself at a disadvantage. So, I mean, this is with the Shen and Hayden Fleury pairing, but I mean, not a great look. I mean, it's soft by the Winnipeg Jets. They're standing around watching, and you just can't. You're right. It's funny how Nils Lundqvist looks like he's like a 30-goal scorer the way he gets that one and picks the corner on Connor Hellebuyck, but you just can't allow that sort of play. It's way too soft by the fourth line, and it's just, even when they get in behind you, that's one thing. But then, I should say, take the puck from you in the neutral zone. Right. But then there were opportunities for those guys to tie someone up. They don't do it, and as a result, it ends up in the back of your net.
How's this for a stat? Mikko Rantanen, we were talking about Kyle Connor, his last starts to the season, his last 8 seasons openers. Here's this courtesy Josh Clark, who covers the Dallas Stars. Mikko Rantanen's last 4 season openers. 2022, he had 4 assists. 2023, 2 goals, 2 assists. 2024, he had 3 goals. Tonight, a goal and 2 assists. If you're doing simple math at home, in the last 4 season openers, that's a total of 6 goals and 14 points for Mikko Rantanen of the Dallas Stars.
Pretty good.
Pretty good indeed. So the Jets trail 2-1 after 20 minutes on home ice. This is the Illegal Curve post-game show. Drew Mandel, Dave Manouk. It's brought to you by our friends at PlayNow. Be sure to use PlayNow for all of your legal gambling needs within the province of Manitoba. 18 plus. Enjoy responsibly. Jets get some power play opportunities early in the second period. They can't make do with any of them. Dylan DeMello takes an early hooking penalty to kill that off, so that's good. Then Ilya Lyubushkin takes a holding penalty. Then the Stars take a too many men on the ice penalty. Jets power play, which was so effective last year. I haven't even mentioned the first period roughing penalty that Rupe Hintz took. But the Jets power play, which was so effective last year, unsuccessful in the course of tonight's game. And they had some opportunities, including that late third period opportunity. So that's, not to say that the power play is going to be a struggle all season long, but an area where you almost were assured of the Jets getting a goal in the course of 6 different power play opportunities. I guess maybe it's just 5 of them because one of them was offsetting.
Right.
Today, they weren't able to capitalize on the power play.
Yeah, the second power play unit, I don't remember on which power play it was, but they took, I'm pretty sure Gus Nyquist was out there for the entirety of well, actually, no, Carter Brooks reminded me it was a minute and 54 seconds of the power play. And they had some good movement. That was in the second period, I believe. But again, I'm not so worried about. I mean, Connor, Scheifele, and Velarde all look like they're humming along, and really, you're filling in for Nikolai Ehlers, and I'm not minimizing him because, of course, he's hugely impactful. But the fact of the matter is that you squandered opportunities. I mean, there were chances that they had to take advantage of the power plays that they earned, and they didn't. And then as a result, they you're left in a game where you're not able to equalize things. And then the second period happened, and we know what happened there.
Yeah, well, the second period was one-sided, to say the least. 17-7 were the shots on goal for the Dallas Stars in period number 2. The possession numbers were equally one-sided. The Stars had 72% of the possession. The Jets trailing only at 28.5%, 28% of the possession in the second period. So very, very one-sided period for the Dallas Stars. But they don't actually capitalize. They have plenty of opportunities. They have plenty of power play time. Jonathan Toews takes a slashing penalty. Neil Pionk takes another penalty.
Didn't like that one. It was dumb though, because is that the coincidental one?
The coincidental one was the early one. That was the first one he took, where both him and Rantanen take coincidental penalties.
I mean, I understand.
Toews gets penalized shortly thereafter.
Yeah, I understand, and that was a soft call on Toews, but like I just don't understand the rationale when you're in a game where you're in a deficit and Rantanen hits Nemestikov. Rantanen plays dirty. I mean, like, he's a good player, but he definitely plays a dirty game. You can't pretend like he's a clean player by any stretch of the imagination. And that's fine. That's just the game he plays. And I understand that you're trying to get under his skin, but you're going from a power play to 4-on-4. It doesn't make a lot of sense when you're down. So, to me, that was a bit of a question mark by Neil Pionk to take that penalty. I don't know what you think you're going to achieve. I mean, Rantanen's already in the penalty box, so I think it was a bit of it was a bit of a mental mistake, I think, by him. Drew, are you speaking, or is this now the Dave Minuk experience? I was like, it's funny. I was sitting there, folks, and I'm looking at Drew, and I realized like he's not interjecting. And I'm like, okay. And then I'm thinking to myself, like, is he okay? Is he having a seizure? Is something wrong with him? Because Drew never misses an opportunity to interrupt me. Snack Who's got a good point. He's saying that he was mesmerized by what I had to say. So maybe that's what it was. I'm not certain. This has now become a Dave Minuk experience. And as folks know, when there's a Dave Minuk experience, I'm more inclined to talk about the Manitoba Moose and their, potential Calder Cup bid than I am about the rest of this Jets game. So hopefully Drew is not smelling toast, a burnt toast, we should say, Frosty. We don't want that. But everybody's having some fun. This is not quite as, it's French toast, according to Frosty. Oh, C-Mac wants me to talk about the Moose. Coach Rand. Well, I will say, speaking of the Moose, and I'm sure that Drew will be back soon enough, and it's ironic that Drew is making fun of my computer, and now his computer is the one that has gone toast on tonight's broadcast. But the Moose are playing in their home opener tomorrow. So if you want tickets to that, 2 ways of getting them. One, you can go buy them on moosehockey.com. But you can also win tickets in the illegal curve zone, because we've got 4 tickets to give away pretty much to every game. I haven't looked. I haven't checked that out yet. But if you want to go to tomorrow's game and see what I think is going to be an absolutely loaded team, I think there's a lot of excitement in Moose Land. Mason Shaw named captain today of the Manitoba Moose. So that was exciting news. He's the 13th captain in team history. Oh, not even a message from Drew. That's unusual for him. But we'll keep going. I don't know T. Konopoli because he's asking, is Tyrell Bauer in the Moose opening lineup? And I can't tell you if he was, because he was skating with Ashton Sautner yesterday. They had Elias Salamonson was paired with Isaac Phillips, and Ville Heinola on his right side with Cale Clegg on his left in the top pairing. So it is a really good Moose team. And like the lines were, you're going to, like I said, if you follow the Moose, which I know a lot of folks do, you are going to definitely enjoy what this Moose team has to provide, because it is it is going to be a lot of fun this year. They were 31st out of 32 teams. I think only Bridgeport Sound Tigers had less goals than Manitoba. 7JP 7B is saying, "Is this my vengeance for disappearing on Saturday?" But Journey for Beginners, who I believe is out in Brandon, I'm not sure that the Moose will be better than the Jets, but the Moose are definitely going to be a better team than what we saw last year, which rivals the 15-16 team for being a little dark. Kate Thor is saying, any idea? And for the record, the reason I'm not continuing with the game recap is because I feel like Drew is going to show up, and then I'm going to be stuck in there. So if he waits another 5 minutes, 10 minutes, then we'll see. But hold on, I'll send him a message. It's a little unusual. He hasn't even messaged me. But anyways, let's keep this rolling. I don't know who's in goal. K Thor is asking, who do I think is in goal? The Moose still have 3 goaltenders up. Isaac Poulter, who of course is the Winnipegger. They've got the who else do they have? They have obviously Dominic DiVincentis, and they've got Thomas Milic. So I haven't. Again, it's been a little difficult because I can't clone myself. There's only one of me, so I'm trying to do both things, and trying to get to both the Moose and Jets practices have been a little difficult. But I am doing my best to keep them covered. But again, like I said, you're going to have a lot of fun. Colby Barlow looks really good. Braden Yager's going to have a good season. You've got all the kids. They have a kid line: Yager, Barlow, Wagner, Fabian Wagner, of course, 2022 6-rounder. And then you've got Danny Zhilkin, who I know Frosty is going to be excited about. Danny Zhilkin think he's looked really good. Oh, we've got Drew maybe back. Well, Mr. Mendel.
Honestly, I think my computer just had like a thermonuclear meltdown. I've never seen that happen before in my life. Everything just went absolutely haywire. So,
well, it was funny because no, it was good. We had a good little side chat with the folks in the chat. Everyone was having fun with it, but it was funny though, because like, I didn't really give you an opportunity to interject, but I kind of thought maybe you would have. And then I was like, and then I kind of looked at your head, and you were like, you had this like weird side thing. And so I was kind of like, and then I kept watching, and then it was like, in my head, I'm like trying to keep my thought, but then I'm also thinking, I think Drew froze, and you just disappeared.
My computer just went and like had a meltdown.
Just so you know, for the last, let's say you've been out for about 5 to 7 minutes.
Yeah.
For the last 5 to 7 minutes that you've been gone. Yeah. I have held a Moose powwow for the last little bit. So we've talked Moose, and I will just end it where if you want to go to the Moose game, Dave@illegalcurve.com, send me an email. I'll try and get you guys tickets. I can only give away 4. So let me know if you want to go to the game tomorrow night. They're playing the Laval Rocket. Or if you want to play on Sunday, we probably have tickets too. But I should probably check to make sure before I offer to give them away. But I know we've got tickets for the home opener, and it should be a lot of fun. So make sure you get down there. Jets up tomorrow.
That's a good team. But in any event, thank you for keeping up for me. Where did we leave off? We left off. I know that we were talking about the second period that the Stars dominated in its entirety, and the Jets were running around, particularly I think I was talking about the Pionk coincidental penalty with Rantanen, and how I didn't think it was a great decision by him because it put his team behind. But I don't think it's such a great thought that we need to revisit it. Fair enough, but the Jets ran into penalty trouble late in that second period, and so much so that they had a 5-on-3. The Stars did. That was when Pionk in the box for interference, Alex Iafallo in the box for that tripping penalty. The Jets kill it off in the second period. Then they start the third again, still shorthanded, still the 5-on-3 situation. Mm-hmm. And I mentioned earlier about on the first Stars goal of the game, when Hayden Fleury lost his stick. Well, now it's 5-on-3, and Josh Morrissey loses his stick. This is early in the third period, 1:01 into that third period. Jason Robertson gets the
and then the stick unintentionally helped keep the puck in the zone.
Yes, insult to injury at that case. Mikko Rantanen and Roope Hintz get the assists on that one. This Morrissey, it looks like the Jets are going to kill off the 5-on-3. They're just seconds away from successfully doing so. Instead, Morrissey loses the stick. The puck looks like it's going to squeak out over the line. And in fact, hits the stick, stays in the zone, and then the Jets are unable to kill the penalty. And Robertson, from in tight, he's got those very, very soft hands, goal scorer's hands, and he gets it up and over Connor Hellebuck at the 1 minute, 1 second mark to give the Dallas Stars a 3-1 lead very early into that third period, Dave.
Yeah, I mean, it's really tough because you're feeling good that we've always talked about that, how hard it is for the continuity of the power play for it to carry over. And oftentimes you don't, I don't know what the stat is, but I would imagine that it doesn't necessarily, track that you score quite often, when you're coming back in the next period. But yeah, this is just it's a tough play because that puck is so close to getting out. The stick holds it up just enough for the Stars to kind of keep it in the zone. And Jason Robertson, I mean, the fact that his name was out there is almost mind-boggling to me. The fact, he's a guy who consistently
they don't want to pay him. I'm like, why don't you want to pay him? All he does is score goals.
I was gonna say all he does is score goals, and so you're thinking to yourself like, and it's a great pass by Rantanen. I mean, he's not trying to score there. He knows that he knows that Robertson has position on DeMello, and so great play by Robertson, great play by Rantanen, and the Stars have themselves an early 3-1 lead in the third period.
Yeah, I never really understand that philosophy. Oh, we don't need a guy. All he does is score goals. Oh, you mean the hardest thing there is to do in hockey? You think that every other team wants to desperately find, oh, he's a perennial 40 goal scorer. Well, we don't need to pay that kind of player that time. Like, pay all your players.
And well, Jim, like if there's one GM that I'm never going to pillory, it's Jim Nill, because Jim Nill in my mind is one of the best GMs in hockey.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree with you there, but I mean, pay your players.
That's why. But
the only thing I always is only going up.
No, pay I know, but again, the only thing we never know what's going on, right? Like we don't focus on that market, so you have no idea. Like I'm not arguing with your rationale. I just say like maybe there's other stuff that we are unaware of.
Right. Fair enough. 3-1 for the Dallas Stars, and then the floodgates open. It takes all of 34 seconds for the Dallas Stars to make it 4-1. It's a Matt Duchene special. This a beautiful, beautiful primary assist by Matt Duchene, who goes backdoor on to Tyler Seguin. I mean, the high-end skill that Matt Duchene possesses, you sometimes take it a little bit for granted. Thomas Harley getting the secondary assist on this one. But, again, this is Duchene, just absolute wizardry here. What he does against Hayden Fleury, turns him inside out, and then to feed the pass through to Seguin, who's just a downhill train right on the blue paint of the Winnipeg Jets. Glorious hockey play by Matt Duchene of the Dallas Stars. And it was 2-1 at the start of the third period. Takes all of 1:35 to make it 4-1 for the Dallas Stars. Beautiful play by Matt Duchene on this one.
It was, but it was also terrible defense by the Winnipeg Jets. I mean, so you two things. He
still did a spinorama and then fed it backdoor to Tyler Seguin.
No. It's an absolutely spectacular play. But the fact of the matter is that Kyle Connor is with Tyler Seguin, but Tyler Seguin wasn't particularly noticeable in the game, I didn't think. But Hayden Fleury goes for the pinch, so now you're chasing, and the Jets had been deep on the shift, but I just thought that Kyle Connor needs to have someone, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe
tie up the Seguin stick is what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying. And so like it's not ideal defense from a line, again, that's generally speaking is fairly committed to defense and or better than they ever were before. But I just think like Connor puts himself into ironically, because I said how good he was at finding no man's land to be by himself, but in this instance I think he puts himself into a bad position, and there's nothing he can really do. So, yeah, I mean, look, I don't like the Hayden Fleury pinch. You want to stabilize things after you've just given up a goal. 3-1 is not insurmountable by any stretch of the imagination.
Slow things down is what you're saying.
And I just think, like, you don't need to get that 3-2 goal right away. I mean, obviously, if you can, it's great, but you have to be aware of the fact that
maintain your structure.
Well, maintain your structure, and the Stars have the momentum. So, keep things calm. And I just don't think that the Jets did. And as a result, they found themselves down 4-1.
You're right. And then it did not take long for it to be 5-1. It took all of another just under 2 minutes for Wyatt Johnson to get his first of the season assist to Nils Lundqvist and Thomas Harley as well. And again, just not great coverage by the Winnipeg Jets. It's a bit of a mishmash here. You have Koepke on the ice, you have Velarde on the ice, you have Barron on the ice. So you know that they're in the midst of a line change. Pionk and Fleury, they were exposed on more than one occasion tonight. But, you just leave Wyatt Johnston. Look where he scores this goal from. He's not, he's right inside the hash marks. That's where he is. And he just turns and he's able to get it up and past Connor Hellebuck, Hayden Fleury in a bit of a chase position. Just not good D-zone coverage. There's plenty of D-zone breakdowns for Jets head coach Scott Arniel to show on the video when they meet ahead of the game on Saturday afternoon against the Los Angeles Kings. Those defensive breakdowns just cannot happen, particularly for a Winnipeg Jets team that is shorthanded in terms of the caliber and quality of the defensemen that they have on the ice.
Yeah, and I'm not looking to pick on Hayden Fleury, but it was just he's with Johnston, and then all of a sudden he's not. And as you said, then because Johnston has created that gap, Fleury is trying to narrow it, but it's too little, too late, and he gets that puck. He's a great young player, right? We've talked about how well the Stars have drafted. Not on this show, of course, but on previous shows, and specifically when we were talking about the Dallas Stars over the course of the second round. So you have to be aware, and you cannot give a guy that kind of time and space. When you do, bad things can happen. And as a result, you're now down, was it 5-1 at this point?
5-1 at this point. And then Josh Morrissey takes a hooking penalty. I mean, most people think it's 5-1, the game's over. You could feel the air was out of that building. You were there, you can speak to it better than I can. But 5-1.
Not at this point, Drew. I'd already Dave M had left the building.
That's right. Dave M leaves after the second period. Get out of his way. He's got to get home for post game. Morrissey's in the box for hooking. Is this going to be 6-1 or is this going to be an inconsequential 2-minute power play? Well, it was certainly an inconsequential power play for the Dallas Stars, but it was not inconsequential for the Winnipeg Jets and their penalty kill. Morgan Barron gets his first of the season, demonstrating an absolute fantastic burst of speed. And starting with a blocked shot, he is able to get the puck in open ice, takes it the length of the ice, goes backhand on Jake Ottinger, and he cuts the lead from 5-1 to 5-2. And this, I may take this opportunity to debut a new segment or a new feature of the post-game show. This goal is our Wheatland Hockey heads up play of the game. So big thank you to our friends at Wheatland Hockey for their support of the Illegal Curve post-game show and all the broadcasts we do here at Illegal Curve. On each and every post-game show, we're going to award a play as the Wheatland Hockey play of the game. This was it for Morgan Barron. It's not necessarily always going to be a goal. It's not necessarily going to always be an assist. But our friends at Wheatland Hockey are about the instructional side of the game. They're going to teach your hockey playing child how to be a smarter hockey player, how to be a smarter person, how to be a better person. That's what our friends at Wheatland Hockey are all about. A well-rounded hockey program designed to help you, your son, your daughter, your niece, your nephew, your grandson, your granddaughter, whatever it is, whoever it is in your hockey life that is looking to advance their skills. Our friends at Wheatland Hockey are there for you. Check them out online. Big thank you to our friends at Wheatland Hockey for their support of the Illegal Curve post-game show. Morgan Barron getting that all significant honor as the first ever recipient of the Wheatland Hockey heads-up play of the game.
Well, we'll have to see what he thinks about that. If he talks tomorrow, I'll have to ask him. But I mean, it's a nice play. I mean, the fact is that with Adam Lowry's injury, Morgan Barron is going to have more opportunity, especially on the penalty kill, Drew. And that was the one area, as we talked about on this afternoon show, was going to be a big question mark for the Winnipeg Jets. And what were they going to do without Dylan Sandberg and without Adam Lowry on the PK? Really nice play, really smart play by Morgan Barron. I don't know how they didn't call a penalty on what's his name, the guy who Scheifele had. What's that young kid's name?
The one that Scheifele had.
Starts with an H.
Ricoian, I believe. I'm not. I might be mispronouncing it, but it's something along those lines. He's a rookie, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought that could
Ricoian.
Yeah, who knows? But
Yeah.
anyways,
Justin, if your family's watching, I apologize.
the fourth. Well, I think he's an Alberta kid, but I think, although he went to college, I'm not sure. But anywho, we don't cover the Dallas Stars on the team, folks. So I will accept my apology for not knowing where he is from and where he. I think it's Alberta, though. Am I wrong?
You're wrong. Ile Blizzard, Quebec.
Oh, Quebec. Yeah, actually, sorry. That's what they were talking about on the broadcast.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You got your separatist provences confused. I understand it's confusing which province is separating
Alberta.
where the
Forget
player
about
comes
Quebec.
from.
Yeah. We're a Western Canadian show here, but or at least we have Western Canadian bias, I should say. But or at least I do. But the fact of the matter is that it was a really nice play by Barron, and you know, I don't know if Ottinger was just kind of like, oh, I guess I'm supposed to be doing something in this game, but he really made Ottinger look kind of ordinary on that play because he's got a lot of pressure on him. Mm-hmm. 3 stars are chasing him down, and yet he still manages to make an excellent play and get that goal.
Well, that's the part of Morgan Barron's game that I think so many people find a little bit tantalizing.
Mm-hmm.
Is that you see that that combination of speed and power, and he's got some pretty soft hands.
Yep.
You wonder, why is this guy always sort of buried on your fourth line? Why is this guy sort of capped with his minutes? Why doesn't he get an opportunity to maybe play with some more, what I'll call skill players? You saw it again on that breakaway. That was very, very well done by Morgan Barron and leaves people wanting a little bit more, I think.
Well, that would be my perfect way to describe the third line. Maybe absent Alex Iafallo, but Vladimir Mestikov. And again, just to be clear, it's one game. We're not gonna lose our minds over what someone did or didn't do in one game. So we'll reconvene this thought in 10 games, and then we can, or in 9 more games, and then we'll let you know where we're at in terms of assessing.
To be honest, we'll probably reconvene it on Saturday morning with the Illegal Curve Hockey Show.
Well, we will, and then we'll talk about it on Saturday afternoon. Then we'll talk about it on Monday afternoon. But the point I'm making is that we're not going to draw too many conclusions from one game early in the season. But yeah, I think Morgan Barron, if he continues to earn coach's trust, then you could see him potentially in a third line role if the third line doesn't get going. If Nino Niederreiter and Vladimir Mestikov aren't producing. Well, again, we've talked about it. You can't be a third line that holds your own, that doesn't get scored on, but doesn't score. You have to produce. I thought Tanner Pearson had some moments in tonight's game. He had that nice redirect when I think, was it Scheifele who passed it? No, it wasn't Scheifele. I don't know who made the pass, but it was a nice play by Pearson and knocked the puck out of the net and out of the air, and knock it on Ottinger, but didn't score, but it was a nice play by him.
I think it was Scheifele who who got the pass over to him. It was sort of like he tried to bunt it out of the air.
Yeah. But nice play by Pearson. But yeah, look, it didn't leave you with. I wasn't wowed. I mean, like I said, there were some moments that I thought were good, but ultimately you lost the game. We're not there yet. Right now you're just down by 2 goals.
Yeah, right now you're down by 3. It's 5-2 on the same power play opportunity. The same, the Jets with a second shorthanded goal on that same power play. Kyle Connor, his second of the year, second of the game, assist to Mark Scheifele and Dylan DeMello. I mean, again, this is what's happening to the Dallas Stars in this instance, where Kyle Connor gets another opportunity, where the Jets take advantage of it. It's a nothing play. This doesn't appear to be anything here whatsoever, but the Jets just take advantage of it, and all of a sudden the puck, Mark Scheifele just chips it up the boards. Heiskanen is there trying to keep it in, and Connor gets his own rebound and he beats Jake Ottinger with it. I mean, Kyle Connor is a dynamite player. This is why the Jets selectively throw him out there on the penalty kill. Nice play by Scheifele to get it past Rantanen, past Heiskanen, and then Kyle Connor's off to the races. And I mean, he gets his own rebound. Anytime you can get your own rebound and score on your own rebound, you've done something pretty impressive in my books. And that's what he does here. And all of a sudden, things are getting interesting. It's 5-3 at this point in time.
Well, and you're also seeing the wisdom of using Kyle Connor and Mark Scheifele on the PK.
Right.
Because they have such good offensive instincts. But yeah, I mean, we criticize the Jets defense for the way they played, but this is another instance, and you can give Heiskanen a bit of a pass, but both guys, kind of left Ottinger out to dry. And one thing about Kyle Connor, and we'll sing his praises, well, probably for the next 9 years in various ways, because he's such a good player, such a dynamic player. But when he sees daylight, it's hard to stop him. And
his mentality is go when you see Dave.
Right. And he knew he sniffed out that opportunity, and he made the Stars, and I'm sure he was I'm sure he was, juiced up to keep this thing rolling and try and get this team back into it. So an impressive, 2 goals on the same penalty kill, a lot more impressive than the 2 empty netters by Morgan Barron last year.
No question. 5-3. Just under about 9 minutes to go in the game. Getting a little interesting. Maybe something's going to happen here. Then it gets real interesting. 5 minutes and 48 seconds later, Kyle Connor, the hat-trick goal, assist to Miro Heiskanen and his toe pick on this one. But, point. The Jets will take advantage of it wherever they can. I mean, it starts deep in their own zone. Morrissey up the boards to Connor. Connor goes cross-ice to Dylan DeMello. Mello to Scheifele. And then Scheifele just sort of feeds it to Connor, who's coming over. It's one-on-one, him and Heiskanen, but Heiskanen then takes that toe pick and he puts himself out of position, out of the play, flailing on the ice. Not a good time for him, every player's worst nightmare to come to reality. But all of a sudden, it almost becomes a bit of a breakaway because you have Heiskanen down and out there, and Kyle Connor makes no mistake. Shooters are going to shoot, shooters are going to score when they are in that situation right at the hash marks. He beats Jake Ottinger. And now it's a 5-4 game, and people are going, whoa, what is happening? Can't this team just play one normal game? That's all we want, just one normal game. But, unfortunately, that's as close as the Winnipeg Jets were to get. They had some opportunities. They had that late power play after what I think was a incorrect puck over glass penalty. So the hockey gods did not allow the Winnipeg Jets to get an equalizer there with that one late, with the Stars getting a bit of a job with regard to Thomas Harley getting called for the puck over glass. Did look a lot like it was Vlad Nemesnikov who shot it over, but just a little too late for the Winnipeg Jets as they dropped tonight's contest by a 5-4 margin. Game 1 of 82. You can't go 15-1, Dave, without losing at least one of those games. So now the Jets, the expectation is they'll rattle off 15 consecutive victories now.
Yeah, last year they didn't lose till I think it was October 28th.
Yeah,
in Game 9. So they got it out of the way early this year. But look, we knew that watching this Jets team. I mean, if this Jets team has, obviously the Stars were without Jamie Benn, who's a big, but he's not as significant. He doesn't carry the team. He's like Adam Lowry. Yeah. But the truth is that this team would look a lot different if Miro Heiskanen wasn't in the lineup or Thomas Harley wasn't in the lineup. Maybe not Heiskanen, but Thomas Harley, right? And so you've got to overcome that limitation because look, the end of the day, this team is not going to have Dylan Sandberg back any sooner by wishing that he's back. That's so right. You have to figure out a way to live without that. Is Colin Miller coming in on Saturday? Are they going to make up some lineup changes? Again, I'm not suggesting you do it out of panic. I just think that you need to do that in order to keep this lineup a little bit fresher. And Colin Miller, I think, has always looked good in that third pairing role. Like I said, I don't know why the coaching staffs don't use him more. That's a me thing, though. And I don't think it's just a me thing. I think there's lots of folks who hold that opinion.
A lot of people question that, yeah.
But ultimately, at the end of the day, you're going to have to stabilize things. And the Jets have to clean things up. This was the first line, again, made a mistake defensively that led to a goal, but they were lightning quick on the opportunities to score goals for this team. So we'll see what ends up happening. But yeah, like you said, Drew, it's not necessarily something to lose your mind over. The only thing you should be losing your mind over is whether or not you've smashed that like button on Game 1 of 82 of the regular season. And by the way, when you're watching the videos, the YouTube videos that we post after Jets and Moose practice, smash the like button on those as well.
That's right. I got my smashing hand going. This is my smashing hand. That's what that is. So be sure to do that. We go to break. We'll take our only commercial break here on the post-game show. When we come back,
I could have done that while you were frozen, Drew.
That's fine too. When we come back, some of the post-game quotes, much more to come. Don't go anywhere. Drew Mandel, Dave Manouk. I was going to say Saturday morning, but it's not. It's Thursday evening. It's the Illegal Curve post-game show. It rolls on this Thursday night, opening night of the Jets 25-26 regular season.
We want to thank you for not betting with PlayNow and choosing our illegal gambling sites instead.
Because we couldn't afford things like this without your money.
So much of your money.
Now you might have questions like,
Do our profits benefit your community?
No.
Or bet with PlayNow, Manitoba's local legal and secure gambling site.
Dining, entertainment, parking, and convenience, all in one spot. City Place is located in the heart of downtown Winnipeg, attached to the Canada Life Centre. Whether you're working, living, or out for a night in the downtown, make City Place your go-to destination before or after the fun finds you. Lunchtime, game time, anytime, visit City Place at 333 St. Mary Avenue, next to Canada Life Centre. Holt Dental, the new official dentist of Illegal Curve, has a philosophy rooted in two unyielding principles: genuinely caring about patients and providing outstanding service. Being a patient of Holt Dental means more than just checkups and treatments. It's taking the time to listen and talk to each patient so they can achieve the best long-term health, functionality, and aesthetics for their teeth, mouth, and gums. Conveniently located at Grant Park Festival on Taylor Avenue, Holt Dental is dentistry of the highest quality in a comfortable and relaxed environment. For more information, visit holtdental.ca. Oh, and there's plenty of free parking at the front door too. Celebrating its 40th year as Winnipeg's home for stand-up comedy, Rumors Restaurant and Comedy Club has recently been named Canada's top comedy club and a top 5 comedy club in North America. From birthday parties to date nights to fundraisers and everything in between, Rumors is your destination for the best and most affordable live entertainment Winnipeg has to offer. For more information on upcoming shows, Rumors' incredible promotions, and to purchase tickets, visit rumorscomedyclub.com.
At Boston Pizza, a fast lunch doesn't have to mean fast food. Now you can get a $15 lunch served in just 20 minutes, including your choice of a main, side, and drink. That's right, lunch for $15 at your local Boston Pizza.
The clock has struck 11 in the evening. Welcome back to the Illegal Curve post-game show. Drew Mandel, Dave Manouk. Reminder, Saturday morning, 9 a.m., the Illegal Curve hockey show. We'll be back here. We'll get you set for the Jets and the Los Angeles Kings, which is that rare 12:30 in the afternoon start on Saturday. So that'll be it. Yeah, that'll be a bit of a unique Saturday for sure. But be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel and turn your notifications on. That way you'll get alerted each and every time we go live on the Illegal Curve YouTube channel. Scott,
and then, by the way, Drew, don't forget that we got a noon game on Monday. So
that's true, a noon Monday
12:30 and 12 o'clock. Good times.
Holiday Monday, holiday in the United States as well. So yes, a couple of afternoon contests coming up for the Winnipeg Jets Saturday and Monday. But it starts, of course, Saturday morning with the Illegal Curve hockey show. Reminder, the Jets are actually going to be on the ice tomorrow. So it's practice tomorrow at they just announced
at
it,
noon.
12
noon.
12 noon. Yeah. So the Jets will be practicing tomorrow, which means there'll be plenty of content on illegalcurve.com and, of course, on our YouTube channel. Scott Arneal, not particularly impressed with the Jets' performance tonight. No surprise.
Some good quotes, though, Drew.
Yes, they scored 3 goals off entries. That's not us. We don't give up those plays with a guy who's dead center in the middle of the ice getting chances. We have to work on that. Continuing on, Scott Arneal, we lost a lot of battles. Whether that was man-on-man or one-on-one or battles for good spots, they beat us to positions. They got inside space on us a few times. We certainly know that we can be better in those areas. So no sugarcoating it from the Jets head coach. Not particularly impressed with the structure and the attention to detail. Drink.
First one of the season.
First one of the season that the Winnipeg Jets demonstrated tonight against the Dallas Stars. They'll look to clean things up on Saturday against the Los Angeles Kings. Plenty of post-game coverage available on illegalcurve.com, including the entire post-game comments from the Winnipeg Jets head coach Scott Arniel.
Those
so
are
head
live
to the
now.
YouTube channel. Check that out while you're at the YouTube channel. Let's be honest, you're probably there already watching us on that platform, but there are also all are you who watch on Facebook. So there's, we have room for everybody in our lives. Be sure to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel, like I was saying. Big thanks to all the sponsors of the show, Dave M. These sponsors are what makes the show possible. PlayNow, they're the title sponsor. Our friends at Rumors Restaurant and Comedy Club, Holt Dental, City Place. We were there this afternoon. That was great. Wheatland Hockey, they're our newest sponsor, the heads up hockey play of the game, courtesy of our friends at Wheatland Hockey, and of course our friends at Boston Pizza as well. Support these fine businesses because of their continued support of Illegal Curve Hockey. Final thought to you on tonight's contest before we wrap it up and move on to game number 2 of 82 on Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, looking forward to that one. Former Jets Moose forward. Well, there's a couple actually, I should say. The first one I was mentioning was Jeff Malott. And then, of course, Yoel Armia, who he was actually lined up with at points. So that we will see if they're both in the lineup. I think the Kings have already played twice. They're 1-1. They lost to Colorado, and I think they beat Vegas in kind of a weird game. So Jeff Malott scored his first goal in the NHL. So we'll see him on Saturday. Looking forward to that. But, of course, full day of coverage coming your way on illegalcurve.com. We will have it's actually good that it's a noon practice, which allows me to go cover Jets Moose morning skate first thing in the morning, and then head down to Canada Life Center to cover Jets practice and have that. So we'll have it all on the website. We'll have it on the YouTube channel. And then, like I said, to anyone who wants to go to the Moose and Laval game, see former head coach Pascal Vincent, you can send me an email, dave@illegalcurve.com, and we will send you into the Illegal Curve zone for the game on Friday and probably the game on Sunday as well.
There you go. Lots to come. Lots of fun ahead. Just the tip of the iceberg starting this season for the Winnipeg Jets and the Manitoba Moose. Thanks to all of you for joining us. We always appreciate your support. Tell a friend, tell a family member. The best place to be on Saturday mornings. And again, after each and every Winnipeg Jets game is here on the Illegal Curve YouTube channel. For Dave Manouk, for photographer, videographer Colby Spence, I am your host, Drew Mindell. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. We'll see you again on Saturday at 9 a.m. Until then, we wish you good night and good luck. And thanks for watching the Illegal Curve post-game show.